Well, good afternoon, all. We have quite a lengthy agenda together, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And I'm going to call to order the annual meeting of the Board of Directors for Marion Bennett Plaza, LLC, which is an affiliate of the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority. And before we do that, I'm going to ask everyone to stand and we do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk, take the roll call.
President Louis Jordan.
Present.
Secretary William McCurdy.
Present.
Treasurer Fred Herron.
Present.
Director Tick Segerblom.
Here.
Director Larry Blackman. Director Marissa Brown.
Present.
Director Nancy Bruni.
Present.
Director Richard Churchio. Director Carrie Cox.
Present.
Director Michael Disman.
Here.
Director Luciana Turner.
Present.
And we have a quorum.
Oh, a quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed and we are in compliance with the Nevada Open Meeting Law.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there an approval of the agenda?
Move approval of the agenda.
It's been moved and second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Okay, agenda approved. Public comment. Any opposed? It's been approved. Thank you. Public comment. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. If you wish to be heard, come to the podium and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited, and it's only for the items on this agenda. Public comment that is repetitive, slanderous, or offensive and inflammatory will amount to personal attacks or interferes with the rights of others is not allowed. We have public comment. State your name. And
Phyllis Carpenter, 5200 Alpine. So I didn't receive an agenda. The manager tried to come to my house this morning and give me the agenda, but I was supposed to get it the same day you guys get it. And this is not the first time.
any other comments from the public? And that's duly noted. The next item will be the approval of Marion Bennett's Phase 2 LLC Resolution Number MBPH1. And who's going to present that? Frank Stafford will be presenting that.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is Frank Stafford, Director of Development and Modernization. This item is for the approval of Marion Bennett Phase 2 LLC Resolution Number MBP 2-1. Background: the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority, through its nonprofit arm, Affordable Housing Programs, Inc., HP, is preparing to close the financing for the development of Phase 2 at Marion Bennett Plaza Apartment. Staff is requesting the board to authorize the president and/or designee to execute any and all documents and take any other action deemed necessary or desirable to facilitate the financing, development, and operation of Marion Bennett Plaza Phase 2 apartments by approving Marion Bennett Phase 2 LLC Resolution MBP 2-1. Action requested: staff requests the board to approve resolution number MBP 2-1 and authorize the president and/or his designee to execute any and all documents necessary to obtain financing needed for the development of Marion Bennett Plaza Phase 2 apartments.
Thank you. Does that conclude your presentation?
Yes.
I move approval of Marion Bennett Phase 2 LLC Resolution Number MBP 2-1 and authorize the president or designee to execute any and all documents necessary to obtain the financing needed for the development of Marion Bennett Plaza Phase 2 apartments.
Is there a second?
I second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The next part will be citizen participation. Items raised under the portion of the agenda cannot be deliberated or actions be taken by the board of this board of trustees until notice of the provision has been noted in the Open Meetings Act. Is there any other public comment on this item? Motion to adjourn? All right, thank you. I now call to order the agenda for the annual meeting of the Board of Trustees, the Board of Directors for Janice Brooks Bay LLC, an affiliate of Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority. Madam Clerk, take the roll, please.
President Louis Jordan,
Present.
Secretary William McCurdy,
Present.
Treasurer Fred Herron,
Present.
Director Tick Sigerblum,
Here.
Director Larry Blackman,
Present.
Director Marissa Brown,
Present.
Director Nancy Bruni,
Present. Director
Richard Churchio, Director Carrie Cox,
Present.
Director Michael Disman,
Present.
Director Luciana Turner. Present. A quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed and we are in compliance with the Nevada Open Meeting Law.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there a motion to approve of the agenda?
Move approval.
It's been approved. Is there a second?
Second. Sorry.
All in favor of approving the agenda?
Aye.
Any opposition? Next portion of our agenda will be public comment. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to the matters on the agenda. Is there any public comment on this item? The next item of business will be the approval of Janice Brooks Bay LLC Resolution Number JBB1. Frank Stafford will present.
Frank Stafford, Director of Development and Modernization. Item 4, approval of Janice Brooks Bay Manager LLC Resolution Number JBBM-1. Background, the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority is preparing to close the financing for the redevelopment of Janice Brooks Bay apartment. Staff is requesting the board to authorize the president and/or his designee to execute any and all documents to take any other action deemed necessary or desirable to facilitate the financing, redevelopment, and operation of Janice Brooks Bay apartments by approving Janice Brooks Bay Manager LLC Resolution Number JBBM-1. Action requested, staff requests the board to approve Resolution Number JBBM-1 and authorize the president and/or designee to execute any and all documents necessary to obtain the financing needed for the redevelopment of Janice Brooks Bay apartments.
Does that conclude your presentation?
That concludes.
I move approval of the resolution number JBB-1 and authorize our president or designee to execute any and all documents necessary to obtain financing needed for the redevelopment of Janice Brooks Bay apartments.
It's been properly moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Is there any citizen participation on this item? Meeting adjourned. Next item, next meeting, I should say. I'd like to call to order the agenda of the annual meeting of the Board of Directors of Janice Brooks Bay Manager LLC. Madam Clerk, take the roll, please.
President Louis Jordan,
Here.
Secretary William McCurdy,
Present.
Treasurer Fred Herron,
Present.
Director Tick Sigerblum,
Here.
Director Larry Blackman,
Here.
Director Marissa Brown,
Present.
Director Nancy Bruni,
Present.
Director Richard Churchio, Director Carrie Cox,
Present.
Director Michael Disman,
Present.
Director Luciana Turner.
Present.
A quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed and we are in compliance with the Nevada Open Meeting Law.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda's been approved. Is there any public comment? Hearing none, the first item on the agenda will be the approval of Janice Brooks Bay Manager LLC Resolution JBB-M1.
Good afternoon, Frank Stafford, Director of Development and Modernization. Item 4, approval of Janice Brooks Bay Manager LLC Resolution Number JBBM-1. The Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority is preparing to close the financing for the redevelopment of Janice Brooks Bay apartment. Staff is requesting the board to authorize the president and his designee to execute any and all documents to take the necessary action or desirable to facilitate the financing, redevelopment, and operation of the Janice Brooks Bay apartments by approving Janice Brooks Bay Manager LLC Resolution Number JBBM-1. Action requested is staff requests the board to approve Resolution Number JBBM-1 and authorize the president or designee to execute any and all documents necessary to obtain financing needed for redevelopment of Janice Brooks Bay apartments. And that concludes my presentation.
All right, I move approve the resolution number JBBM-1 and authorize the president or the designee to execute any and all documents necessary to obtain financing for the redevelopment of Jennifer Brooks Bay Apartments.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Is there any citizen participation? Hearing none, meeting's adjourned. I'd like to call to order the annual meeting of the Board of Directors for Landsman Family LLC. Madam Clerk, will you take the roll?
President Louis Jordan,
Here.
Secretary William McCurdy, Treasurer Fred Herron,
Present.
Director Tick Sigerbloom, Director Larry Blackman,
Here.
Director Marissa Brown,
Present.
Director Nancy Bruni,
Present.
Director Richard Churchio, Director Carrie Cox,
Present.
Director Michael Disman,
Present.
Director Luciana Turner.
Present.
A quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed and we are in compliance with the Nevada open meeting law.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
Your second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any oppositions? Agenda approved. Is there public comment? Hearing none. The item of business for this agenda is the operating budget for the Landsman Garden fiscal year ending December 31, 2025. Frank Stafford, are you presenting?
No,
Fred is presenting. Thank you, Fred.
good afternoon, directors. Attached is the Landsman Garden Apartment budget for fiscal year 2025. This budget covers 12 months of operating expenses and the revenue for the fiscal year ending 12/31/2025. This budget is also managed by the Affordable Housing Program. The director is requesting the board to approve the operating budget for Landsman Garden ending 12/30/2025. Any questions?
If there are no questions, I move approval.
Then motion for approval. Is there a second?
Second. Second.
It's been motioned and properly second. Let's call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Is there any citizen participation on this item? Hearing none, meeting adjourned. I'd like to call to order the agenda of the special meeting of Board of Directors for Beaver Estates. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
President Louis Jordan,
Here.
Secretary William McCurdy,
Present.
Treasurer Fred Herron,
Present.
Director Tick Sigerbloom,
Here.
Director Larry Blackman,
Here.
Director Marissa Brown,
Present.
Director Nancy Bruni,
Present.
Director Richard Churchio, Director Carrie Cox,
Present.
Director Michael Disman,
Present.
Director Luciana Turner.
Present.
A quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed and we are in compliance with the Nevada open meeting law.
Thank you. Is there an approval of the agenda? A motion for the approval of the agenda?
Move approval.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All in favor of the approval of the agenda?
Aye.
Any opposition? Agenda approved. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, we'll move to our first order of business, the approval of the operating budget for Beaver Estates fiscal year ending December 31, 2025. Fred Herron will make this presentation.
Attached for the director's approval is Beaver Estates Department budget for fiscal year 2025. This budget is managed by Cornerstone Management Company, and this budget covers 12 months of operating receipts and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025. This is a resident assistant demonstration project that was converted in 2016, and the board is, and the director is asking the board to approve this item.
Move approval.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Is there any citizen participation on this item?
I thought the housing authority was taking that property over. You said in an open meeting, I don't know, sometime in the last year. Huh?
Please state your name for the record.
Phyllis Carpenter, 5200 Alpine Place. But in the last year, you said in an open meeting that the housing authority was taking back that property, and I'm just wondering why you haven't.
So for the point of clarification, the property the housing authority took over was Landsman Gardens. That's what we took over.
Okay,
That's
one of
what
them
we
was
stated.
Beaver Estates too, though.
No, that's it. Any other public comment? Move to adjourn. I'd like to call to order the agenda for the annual meeting of the Board of Directors for Auto Meridian. Madam Clerk, take the roll.
President Louis Jordan,
Here.
Secretary William McCurdy,
Present.
Treasurer Fred Herron,
President.
Director Tick Sigerblum, Director Larry Blackman, Director Marissa Brown,
Present.
Director Nancy Bruni,
Present.
Director Richard Churchio, Director Kerry Cox,
Present.
Director Michael Disman, Director Luciana Turner. A quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed, and we are in compliance with the Nevada Open Meeting Law.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Agenda approved. Is there any public comment on this item? Hearing none. Our first order of business is the approval of the operating budget for Auto Meridian Desert Villa will be presented by Fred Herron.
Director of Protection, the budget for fiscal year 2025 for Autumn Marina Desert Villas. This operating budget is managed by Cornerstone Management Company, and it covers 12 months of operating receipts and expenditure for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025. This project is a mixed finance project that was converted over in 2004. Upon your approval, the board is asking the board to approve this budget for the operator for fiscal year 2025.
Is there a motion for approval?
Move to approve.
Second?
Second.
It's been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Is there any citizen participation on this item? Meeting adjourned. I'd like to call to order the agenda for the annual meeting of Vera Johnson B. LLC. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
President Louis Jordan,
Present.
Secretary William McCurdy, Treasurer Fred Herron,
President.
Director Tig Sigerblum, Director Larry Blackman, Director Marissa Brown,
Present.
Director Nancy Bruni,
Present.
Director Richard Churchio, Director Kerry Cox,
Present.
Director Michael Disman, Director Luciana Turner. A quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed, and we are in compliance with the Nevada Open Meeting Law.
Thank you. Is there a motion for the approval of the agenda? Is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly motioned and approved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? The agenda is approved. Is there any public comment on this item? Hearing none, first order of business is the approval of the operating budget for Vera Johnson B. fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025. Fred Herron will present this item.
Task for your approval is the Vera Johnson B. apartment budget for fiscal year 2025. This property is managed by Hand Management Company, and it covers 12 months of operating receipts and expenditure for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025. This property was also a resident assistant demonstration project, which was converted in 2016. The executive director is asking the board to approve this item as presented.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Item carries. Is there any citizen participation? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned. I'd like to call to order the annual meeting of the Board of Directors for Rose Garden Senior Apartments LLC. Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
President Louis Jordan,
Present.
Secretary William McCurdy,
Present.
Treasurer Fred Herron,
President.
Director Tick Sigerblum, Director Larry Blackman, Director Marissa Brown,
Present.
Director Nancy Bruni,
Present.
Director Richard Churchio, Director Carrie Cox,
Present.
Director Michael Disman, Director Luciana Turner. A quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed, and we are in compliance with the Nevada Open Meeting Law.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Move approval.
Second.
It's been properly motioned and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? The agenda is approved. Is there any public comment? Hearing none. The next item will be the approval of the operating budget for Rose Garden fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025. Fred Herron will present this item.
Attached for your approval is the Rose Garden Apartment Complex budget for fiscal year 25. This project is also managed by a hand management company, and it covers 12 months of operating receipts and expenditure for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025. Rose Garden project was a resident assistant demonstration grant project which converted in fiscal year 2018. Board is, the executive director is after the board to approve this item.
Move approval.
It's been moved. Is there a second for the approval? Been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Item carries. Is there any citizen participation? Hearing none, before I adjourn the meeting, I want to recognize the presence of Commissioner Richard, or Director Commissioner Richard Churchill. So, meeting adjourned. I'd like to now call to order the agenda of the special meeting for the Board of Directors for Espinosa Terrace. Please take the roll.
President Louis Jordan,
Here.
Secretary William McCurdy,
Present.
Treasurer Fred Herron,
President.
Director Tick Sigerblom,
Here.
Director Larry Blackman,
Present.
Director Marissa Brown,
Present.
Director Nancy Bruni,
Present.
Director Richard Churchio,
Present.
Director Carrie Cox,
Present.
Director Michael Disman,
Present.
Director Luciana Turner.
Present.
A quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed, and we are in compliance with the Nevada Opening Meeting Law.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Move approval.
It's been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Agenda, the approval of the agenda carries. Is there any public comment? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move on to the next item of business, the approval of the operating budget for Espinosa Terrace fiscal year ending December 31, 2025. Fred Herron.
Good afternoon again. Taxes the Espinosa Terrace apartment budget for fiscal year 2025. This property is managed by the Affordable Housing Program of the Southern Valley Regional Housing Authority, and it covers 12 months of operating receipts and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025. Upon board approval, the Southern Valley Regional Housing Authority will adopt Espinosa Terrace apartment budget, operating budget. This budget was a resident assistant demonstration project as well, and it was converted over in 2018. The executive director is asking the board to approve this item as presented.
Move approval.
Been
Second.
probably moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none. Hearing none, the item carries. Next item is citizen participation. Hearing and seeing none, this meeting is adjourned. The next, I'd like to call to order the annual meeting of the Board of Directors for Archery Grant LLC. Please take the roll.
President Louis Jordan,
Here.
Secretary William McCurdy,
Present.
Treasurer Fred Herron, Director Tick Sigerblom, Director Larry Blackman,
Present.
Director Marissa Brown,
Present.
Director Nancy Bruni,
Present.
Director Richard Churchio,
Present.
Director Carrie Cox,
Present.
Director Michael Disman,
Present.
Director Luciana Turner.
Present.
The quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed, and we are in compliance with the Nevada Open Meeting Law.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Move approval.
It's been approved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been approved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Agenda is approved. Is there any public comment? Hearing none, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the operating budget for Archery Grant Park fiscal year ending December 31, 2025.
Good afternoon. The Archie Grant Park Department budget for fiscal year 25 is managed by the Affordable Housing Program of the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority. It covers 12 months of operating receipts and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025. This project is also a rental assistant demonstration project, which converted in 2019. Directors are asking the board to approve this item as presented.
Move approval.
Been properly moved, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Is there any citizen participation? Hearing none, meeting is adjourned. I'd like to call to order the agenda of the annual meeting of the Board of Directors for Wardell Street Townhomes. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
President Louis Jordan,
Here.
Secretary William McCurdy,
Present.
Treasurer Fred Herron,
Present.
Director Tick Segerblum,
Here.
Director Larry Blackman,
Here.
Director Marissa Brown,
Present.
Director Nancy Bruni,
Present.
Director Richard Churchio,
Here.
Director Carrie Cox,
Present.
Director Michael Disman,
Present.
Director Luciana Turner.
Present.
The quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed, and we are in compliance with the Nevada Open Meeting Law.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Agenda approved. Is there any public comment on this item? Hearing and seeing none, the next item on the agenda will be the approval of the operating budget for Wardell Street Townhomes fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025.
Good afternoon. Attached to the budget for Wardell Street Townhouses for fiscal year 2025. This property is managed by the Affordable Housing Program of the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority, and it covers 12 months of operating receipts and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025. This project is a mixed finance project, which converted in 2020. Directors asking the board to approve this item as presented.
Move approval.
It's been properly moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Is there any citizen participation? Hearing and seeing none, this meeting is adjourned. I'd like to call to order the agenda of the annual meeting of the Board of Directors for Vera Johnson A LLC. Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
President Louis Jordan,
Here.
Secretary William McCurdy,
Present.
Treasurer Fred Herron,
Present.
Director Tick Segerblum,
Here.
Director Larry Blackman,
Here.
Director Marissa Brown,
Present.
Director Nancy Bruni,
Present.
Director Richard Churchio,
Present.
Director Carrie Cox,
Present.
Director Michael Disman,
Present.
Director Luciana Turner.
Present.
A quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed, and we are in compliance with the Nevada Open Meeting Law.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Move approval.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, the agenda's been approved. Is there any public comment? Next item on the agenda is the approval of the operating budget for Vera Johnson A fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025.
Attached to the Vera Johnson A Department budget for fiscal year 2025. This property is managed by Park Place Management Company, and it covers 12 months of operating receipts and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31, 2025. This project is a mixed finance project and it converted in fiscal year 2018. Directors asking the board to approve this item as presented.
Move approval.
Been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Is there any citizen participation? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned. I'd like to now call to order the annual meeting for James Allen Towers LLC. Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
President Louis Jordan,
Here.
Secretary William McCurdy,
Present.
Treasurer Fred Herron,
Present.
Director Tig Segerblum,
Here.
Director Larry Blackman,
Here.
Director Marissa Brown,
Present.
Director Nancy Bruni,
Present.
Director Richard Churchio,
Present.
Director Carrie Cox,
Present.
Director Michael Disman,
Present.
Director Luciana Turner.
Present.
Quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed and we are in compliance with the Nevada Open Meeting Law.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Move approval.
It's been motioned. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, the agenda's been approved. Public comment? Hearing none. Next item on the agenda will be the approval of the operating budget for Jamestown Towers LLC. Fred Herron?
Jamestown Tower fiscal year budget for fiscal year 2025 is managed by the Affordable Housing Program of the Southern Valley Regional Housing Authority. This budget covers 12 months of operating receipts and expenditure for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025. This project is a mixed finance project that converted in 2023 and has an estimated completion date of July of 2025, the next upcoming fiscal year. Directors asking the board to approve this item as presented.
Move approval.
There's been a motion for approval. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Is there any citizen participation? This meeting is adjourned. I'd like to call to order the agenda for the annual meeting of Hullum Homes LLC. Please take the roll.
President Louis Jordan,
Here.
Secretary William McCurdy,
Present.
Treasurer Fred Herron,
Present.
Director Tig Siegerblum,
Here.
Director Larry Blackman,
Present.
Director Marissa Brown,
Present.
Director Nancy Bruni,
Present.
Director Richard Churchio,
Present.
Director Carrie Cox,
Present.
Director Michael Disman,
Present.
Director Luciana Turner.
Present.
A quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed and we are in compliance with the Nevada Open Meeting Law.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Move approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of approving the agenda?
Aye.
Any opposition? Agenda approved. Is there any public comment? Hearing none, the next item on the agenda is the approval of operating budget for Hullum Homes LLC. Fred Herron?
Attached is the Hullum Homes operating budget for fiscal year 2025. This property is also managed by the Affordable Housing Program of Southern Valley Regional Housing Authority, and it covers 12 months of operating receipts and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025. This project is a rental assistance demonstration project which converted in 2024 of this current fiscal year. Directors asking the board to approve this item as presented.
Move approval.
It's been properly moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of the approval of this item?
Aye.
Is there any opposition? Item approved. Is there any citizen participation on this item? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned. I'd like to now call to order the meeting of the Board of Directors for Resident Opportunity Self-Sufficiency Empowerment, otherwise known as the Rose Foundation. Please call the roll.
President Louis Jordan,
Here.
Secretary William McCurdy,
Present.
Treasurer Fred Herron,
Present.
Director Tig Siegerblum,
Here.
Director Larry Blackman,
Present.
Director Marissa Brown,
Present.
Director Nancy Bruni,
Present.
Director Richard Churchio,
Present.
Director Carrie Cox,
Present.
Director Michael Disman,
Present.
Director Luciana Turner.
Present.
A quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed and we are in compliance with the Nevada Open Meeting Law.
Thank you. Is there an approval for the agenda?
Move approval.
Been moved to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of approval of the agenda?
Aye.
Is there any opposition? Hearing none, the agenda has been approved. Public comment on this item? Hearing none, the next item on the agenda will be the approval of the operating budget for Rose Foundation fiscal year ending September 30, 2025.
Attached is the Rose Foundation budget for fiscal year 2025, and is managed by our Supportive Service Department. This budget covers 12 months of operating receipts and expenditures for the fiscal year ending 2025, September 2025. This budget also is a 501c3, a nonprofit which generates donations to support our non-federal resident program activities. I would like to add that over the last 10 years, this program generated about less than $50,000 of donations for revenue during the year. Last year, with the Great Assistance and Supportive Service Program, we generated over $110,000. This year's budget, we are estimating to generate $210,000 in donations for the Rhodes Foundations. And so I just want to kind of applaud the Supportive Service Program. Director's asking the board to approve this item as presented.
Move approval.
It's been properly moved. Is there a second? It's been properly moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of the approval?
Aye.
Any opposition? Item approved. Is there any public comment? Meeting adjourned. I'd like to call to order the annual meeting of the Board of Directors of the Affordable Housing Program, an affiliate of the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority. Please call the roll.
President Louis Jordan,
Here.
Secretary William McCurdy,
Present.
Treasurer Fred Herron,
Present.
Director Tig Sigerbloom, Director Larry Blackman,
Present.
Director Marissa Brown,
Present.
Director Nancy Bruni,
Present.
Director Richard Churchio,
Present.
Director Kerry Cox,
Present.
Director Michael Disman,
Present.
Director Luciana Turner.
Present.
A quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed, and we are in compliance with the Nevada Open Meeting Law.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there an approval of the agenda? A motion to approve the agenda?
Move approval.
It's been moved, properly second.
Second.
All in favor of the approval of the agenda?
Aye.
Any opposition? The agenda's been approved. Is there any public comment? Hearing none, the next item on the agenda is the approval of AHP Inc.'s resolution number AHP 34 to enter into an agreement to execute any and all documents necessary to close financing for the development of Phase 2 of Marion Bennett Plaza. Frank Stafford will present this one.
Good afternoon. Frank Stafford, Director of Development Modernization. Background, staff is requesting board approval of AHP Resolution Number AHP-34 and authorizing the President and or his designee to execute any and all documents to take any other action deemed necessary or desirable to secure the financing for the development and operation of Phase 2 at Marion Bennett Plaza Apartments. Action requested, the President requests the board to approve resolution number HP-34, authorizing the President and or designee to execute any and all documents necessary to obtain financing needed for the redevelopment of Marion Bennett Phase 2. That concludes my presentation.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, this item is approved. Is there any public comment? Okay, one more, okay. Very good.
Give another item.
Well, there's another item on here. The next item would be the approval of item resolution AHP 35 to enter into an agreement to execute any documents. Frank Stafford will also present this.
Background, staff is requesting board approval of AHP Resolution Number AHP-35, authorizing the President and the designee to execute any and all documents and take any other action deemed necessary or desirable to secure finance for the redevelopment of Janice Brooks Bay Apartments. Action requested is the President requests the board to approve Resolution AHP-35, authorizing the President and the designee to execute any and all documents necessary to obtain the financing needed for the redevelopment of Janice Brooks Bay Apartments. And that concludes my presentation.
Move approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of this item?
Aye.
Any opposition? Item carries. Thank you, Frank. Now, is there any citizen participation on this item? Hearing and seeing none, this meeting is adjourned.
All right, we'll call to order the regular meeting of the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority. Please call roll.
Chairperson William McCurdy,
Present.
Vice Chairperson Tig Sigerbloom,
Here.
Commissioner Larry Blackman,
Present.
Commissioner Marissa Brown,
Present.
Commissioner Nancy Bruni,
Present.
Commissioner Richard Churchio,
Present.
Commissioner Kerry Cox,
Present.
Commissioner Michael Disman,
Present.
Commissioner Luciana Turner.
Present.
A quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed, and we are in compliance with the Nevada open meeting law.
Thank you. This is the first time set aside for public comment. Is there anyone wishing to come forward at this time to speak on the agenda that's posted, item that's posted on the agenda? All right, hearing saying no, we'll move to item number 3, approval of the minutes. This is for the approval of the regular board meeting minutes for October 17, 2024. I entertain a motion for approval.
Move to approve.
All right, we have a motion for approval. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Bruni. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing saying none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Any abstentions? Motion is adopted. We'll now move on to item number 4, approval of the agenda with the inclusion of any emergency items and the deletion of any items. Are there any additions or deletions of any items on the agenda today?
Move to approve the agenda.
We have a motion for approval. Is there any discussion on the agenda? Hearing saying none, move to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Agenda is approved. We'll now move on to section number 2, report from our executive director.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a few items I wanted to discuss with the board today and the audience. First of all, Mr. Chair, I wanted to thank you and your team for the turkey giveaway. We received a number of turkeys to hand out during this time of holiday and much need, so the team wanted to give you a shout out for that. Also wanted to have Patricia come up and talk about our recent visit with the acting secretary of HUD, Adrian Todman.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Patricia Stevens, Director of Affordable Housing here at the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority. So we've got a small slide presentation. Last month, we were honored to have Acting Secretary of HUD, Adrian Todman, come to town for an impromptu visit. And luckily, while she was in town, she made a point of wanting to meet with us and come to one of our properties. She came to visit Home Homes, which is one of our former public housing properties that is currently under a REG conversion and is currently under construction. We're looking with an anticipated completion date, I believe March or April of this year. So as you can see, this is a picture of one of the buildings that has already been completely rehabbed, which has turned out very nicely. The residents are extremely happy with the new amenities and the improvements to the property. And next slide. So this is Secretary Todman along with the property manager at the property, which is Carla Lewis. So she was able to walk a vacant unit. We actually had our meeting inside of a 4-bedroom vacant unit, so she was able to see the complete rehab of the unit inside and out. And next, this is just a quick slideshow of the presentation. I want to say there was probably roughly 20 to 25 individuals that were there. We had representatives from some of our political constituents. We had residents at the property that were there. We had our construction team, B&H Construction, that was there, along with some of the commissioners as well. And it ended up being a really great event. Secretary Todman is extremely gracious and was very pleased, and it ended up being a really great event, and we got a chance to kind of showcase what it is that we're doing here at the agency. Are there any questions?
And
Commissioner Cox.
I am sad I couldn't be there. My schedule books out, and I know everyone does, and I really wanted to be there, so I'm excited that you all had that opportunity. Hopefully, I know it was very impromptu, because I think it was a day notice.
Yes.
And I hope next time I'll be able to, but thank you for all you do, and I know that when someone of her stature comes, and she's so real, because I have met her, it's such a pleasure to have her, but I just know you all shine. And I think that's what's really impressive to me, is that, you know, I would love to be there, and I think all the board members would love to be there, but if we're not there, we know you're shining. So it's all about you, and it's all about the work that you all do, so thank you.
Absolutely, thank you very much. And I think it speaks volumes to the fact that this wasn't an impromptu visit by her, and she made a point of reaching out to Executive Director Lewis and saying, hey, while I'm in town, I've got to come and check you guys out and see what you're doing. So we were extremely glad to have her here, and, we welcome you all and, anybody in to just see what we're doing.
Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you.
I just wanted to echo the comments of Commissioner Cox. I too was not able to be here and or there. If you notice, I'm not in any of the pictures. I was out of town, but it speaks volumes to the staff and their ability. I actually got a call that Friday night saying I'll be there Tuesday, and it was very short notice. And as we talk, it's very clear. My number may be off, but in the last 3 years, we've had visits from HUD secretaries, probably more than most housing authorities or most housing authority directors will see in a career. And that speaks to the work that we're doing. It speaks to your leadership. It speaks to the fact that something is going on here that's positive. And so, in my absence, I want to give a shout out to the staff because they were able to pull it off. And she sent me a really, really nice text simply saying your team did an outstanding job. So you guys, great job in doing that. And yes, Commissioner Turner, you were also there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was wonderful to see the work that's being done for the residents, and I will echo again the phenomenal job that our team does to make sure that we are moving almost at lightning speed to make sure we have so many properties that we are really working on.
Thank you. There's a lot going on. The next item I wanted to highlight, there was some comment in our last board meeting about the agency and our efforts to address employment, resident employment, and employment in underserved communities in general. A lot of talk about Section 3, and so I'm going to have Johnny Shaw come up and just make a real short presentation on our Section 3 efforts.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Johnny Shaw, Procurement Manager. Just an update on the Section 3 activities for FY24, which was last fiscal year. There we go. Oops. The Section 3 was instituted in 1968. The program requires that recipients of certain HUD financial assistance to the greatest extent feasible to provide training, employment, contracting, and other economic opportunities to low and very low income persons, especially recipients of government assistance for housing, and to businesses that provide economic opportunities for low to very low income persons. HUD gives PHAs no teeth to hold contractors accountable for hiring low and very low income persons based on the vagueness of the above statement from HUD. Here are the income limits for FY24. A Section 3 resident is defined as a resident of public housing or Indian housing, or a resident of metro area or non-metropolitan county in which the Section 3 covered assistance is expended, and a low income, 80% of medium or very low income, 50% of medium per person. Section 3 worker, the worker's income for the previous or annualized calendar year is below the income limit that is established by HUD. The worker is employed by a Section 3 business concern, or the worker is a youth build participant. So there's two categories. There's a regular Section 3 worker, which is a low to very low income individual. Then there is a targeted Section 3 worker. That requirement is a resident of public housing or a Section 8 assisted housing. or a resident of public housing projects, or Section 8 assistant housing managed by a PHA that is providing the assistance, or is a youth build participant. This has been a challenge to meet the benchmarks from HUD, especially for the targeted Section 3 workers. So we will institute a new outreach. We'll begin to assist contractors in self-certifying as business concerns. And so once they become a business concern, any of the low to very low income individuals that fall under them will be qualified as targeted Section 3 workers. The new rule was instituted on July 1st, 2021. The CFR changed to 24 CFR 75. The new rule also changed the methodology of reporting. It used to be we reported number of new hires. Now we report the number of labor hours for these Section 3 workers. We must look back, we must have records of at least 5 years looking back. We were reporting to HUD on an annual basis, but as of March 12, 2023, we have not, HUD has not required any of the PHAs to report back to them. However, we still have to track it. Here are the benchmarks. 25% of labor hours should be worked, or HUD is looking for us to satisfy the 25% of Section 3 workers, and then 5% for the targeted Section 3 workers. And I've already stated that, that last comment there. Here's the outreach efforts. The procurement department is required to include all Section 3 requirements in all public solicitations and contracts for federal funded projects. Procurement department also makes formal presentations at the pre-bid conference related to Section 3. I also send out quarterly emails to contractors for any new hires and training opportunities within their companies. The procurement department sends out the current Section 3 job postings to all PHA properties and also to Family Self-Sufficiency FSS recipients. Supportive Services is now responsible with full engagement with SNRHA residents to foster strategic alignment with increasing efforts for Section 3. And this is Paul's slide.
Hello, Commissioners. I'm Paula Tucker, Director of Supportive Services, and I just wanted to give you an update of the portion that we do in Supportive Services. So basically, we maintain the job bank or the interest form. So whenever a resident wants to apply or actually be on the list to be considered for a Section 3 position, they go to the website and they just go on to apply with the application and upload their resume. Once that goes in our system, then once we get a job order from the procurement department, then we scan it based on the information that's requested from the employer. And once the resume actually matches those skills, we pull those resumes and submit them back to the procurement department. And then they submit them to the employer to review, and then they decide who they're gonna call for the interview. So we just maintain the list. We keep a running list of all of the applications that are uploaded to the system. I believe right now we have, since the portal opened, 257 applications, and the current applicants in the job bank right now are 173. So we are maintaining those. It is open. We're looking to actually, for CNI to actually have like a button right on even the CNI webpage so that applicants can apply right through there also. So any questions for me for that?
And lastly, the hours. FY24, we reported 45,482 labor hours. This equates to 22 full-time equivalent FTE at 20,080 hours a year. SNRHA is also an employer of Section 3. We're reporting with 17,000 682 hours. Assured document destruction reports with 13,474. Air quality environment reported with 4,530. Kingdom janitorial reported with 4,413. Parker Nelson Associates reported with 1,906. Doors Show Insurance reported with 1,455 hours. Converse Consultants reported with 1,080 hours. Rafi Architects reported with 655 hours. KME Architects reported with 190 hours. And Anderson Pest Control reported with 97 hours. That concludes my presentation. Are there any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you know, I'm such an advocate of getting people to work, that's all. I would love if you could forward that presentation. Can we get, thank you so
Absolutely.
much. And then if I have a little bit more question, I can seek it later. Thank
Yes. Any other questions?
Commissioner Bruni.
Thank you. Can you explain, thank you for the presentation, can you explain just in a couple of high-level bullet points why we're having such a hard time attracting the targeted worker?
Basically, if the first challenge is the contractor has to have an opening. And we do track, once the project begins, the Development Modernization Department receives the total employees for that project. If there are any, and then once the project commences, Mod Dev Department also tracks certified payrolls. So if we see new people on that list, we know that they should have come to me and asked if we have any qualified candidates for those positions. Those are the two challenges that we face.
And then what percentage of the hours or the equivalent FTEs are youth?
That I didn't track the youth.
Okay.
I can reach back to those companies and see if any of those are youth.
Okay.
I know we don't have any youth builds.
Okay, and that's a pretty small program here in Southern Nevada. I think Chicanos por la Causa runs that. So how often are we meeting with them to either share information or work to attract and support some of our young people?
I have not met with them yet personally, but I intend to meet with them in the very near future.
Paula, do you meet with Chicanos por la Causa?
Currently, but there are day first where we definitely.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, one more thing, that you mentioned, you're trying to incentivize some of these. So when you set a procurement out, is that one of the things we really would like for one of the companies? I've noticed that some of our procurements, they did say that we would be able to, or they would be able to open up to Section 3. Is that one of the things you embed in your procurements, that you're more proponents of that?
Yes, in all of our solicitation documents, there is a Section 3 response that needs to be signed and dated by the contractor. And they will, in that form, indicate whether or not they will participate with the Section 3 program. But again, there's no teeth for us to force them to do it. It's either yes or no. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Johnny. Yeah, I just wanted to add to Johnny's presentation. As he mentioned, there's really no teeth, if you will, from HUD to have us require anything, particularly if there's no new hires. So I just want to highlight no new hires by the contractor. I wanted to highlight some other things we're doing, like sending out job notices to our residents, working in collaboration with our partners, particularly through the Resident Services Department. When we get new monies like the $50 million and the $3 million for Job Plus, it gives us an opportunity to hire folks. And then last but not least, we're very pleased to say, and Commissioner Disney, you'll appreciate this, we're hiring 5 new people as permanent employees as a result of the pre-apprenticeship program. So in January, 5 of the folks that you all were able to provide funding for us to get the pre-apprenticeship program started again, those folks, assuming that they meet the criteria, will become permanent full-time employees in January. So that's outstanding. Very good. Paula, you were going to?
Commissioner Bruni and then Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Director Jordan, I imagine that all of the housing authorities across the country face the same challenge, right?
Absolutely.
So is there a peer group, or are we sharing best practices? Are there other agencies which have sort of figured out how to just locally start putting more teeth in some of the way they do outreach, or they write the RFPs or something? Because I know we're not alone, but potentially somebody else has sort of figured out how to put the teeth in, even in the absence of HUD putting the teeth in.
Well, it starts with HUD, and saying that this is what you shall do. To be quite frank, most of my peers are spending more times on things like I mentioned in trying to find permanent, full-time, regular employment for residents and for those who are underserved. Again, just my personal opinion, time is much, much better spent doing things like, pre-apprenticeship programs, actually going out and partnering and showing up at places like we did the job fair. But historically, I've done this work over a couple of decades. It's always been an issue, and also wanted to make note that HUD doesn't fund. They don't give us money to say go out and hire people to do things of that nature. So.
Well, I appreciate your comments. You answered a couple of my questions. Have we asked HUD if they can put teeth in their rule? I mean, I don't know. I mean, when, maybe a bad example, but when the family court wasn't putting teeth behind some of their orders, we went and asked, we need help, Judge. If this is your requirement and you want this to happen, then what are best practices? You've got to have, in order to have best practices, you've got to have teeth in your rule. What is the consequence? So I think it's hard to follow a rule when there's no, you either have to have a carrot or a bat. So if there's no teeth in the rule, how can they require us to continue to follow it?
Point well taken.
Yeah, thank you. No, but I'm just like, have we discussed this with HUD?
I think from a national perspective, I think there's been little or no effort, because again, I've done this for a while. It's the same. You get a contractor who, if they have an opportunity, they'll present it, they'll create it. But I stand on this notion of, and even with those opportunities where we've seen successful Section 3 hires, and I think this is a travesty. You hire someone to stand in front of a job site to hold a flag for a few months at $50 an hour, and then you snatch the bottom out, and now they're going back to where they came from. And while I hear exactly what you're saying, Commissioner, I think we serve our community better when we train, help them find sustainable long-term jobs at a livable wage. I'll speak to my peer group. In fact, I'll speak to HUD to see. But I was recently in DC, and we're talking about job type training. In fact, at the Job Plus summit that Paul and I went to in Philadelphia, the encouragement was help. That's why the Job Plus, one of the reasons the Job Plus grant came about, help people find full-time sustainable jobs. And when we talk about the lack of teeth, from the contractor standpoint, there's no incentive for he or she to hire. So maybe one of the things that HUD could do, in fact, is set aside dollars to say to a contractor, if you will hire, we'll give you X.
And that's the carrot, and that's what I'm talking about.
And I'll say, if HUD comes up with any extra money, I'd rather them give it to us than give it to them, but it's something that we can look at.
Okay.
And I'll report back on that.
Well, and they're really two different things, right? I think it's better to always take the higher road, and so, but I'm just saying, maybe HUD needs to kind of answer, like, what can they do to help? At the same time, I think job fairs and all that's wonderful, and if you're helping people find jobs, that's more important, so I 100% agree with you.
And we
I'm
can
just
run
thinking
those
HUD
dual
also
paths,
has to be accountable. They may not like me saying that, but they also have to play a part when they make it so we can't meet the goal. And that was just my point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioners. I'm Paula Tucker, Director of Supportive Services for the Housing Authority. Wanted to do a brief presentation on the recent family self-sufficiency graduation. Oh, I'm sorry. We recently held it at the Blind Center on October 23rd. Just a few slides. Mr. Herron mentioned earlier that our Rose Foundation had more money in it that we had actually raised. This is one of the things that we use that money for. We pay 100% from the donations to put on events like this and the recent celebration of aging. So our goal, our theme was harvesting your success. So this is just some pictures of the graduates and the families. As you can see, we had a packed house. You can go ahead to the next one. These are just some of the graduates that were standing up when we recognized them. You can see really how proud they were with their families. We invited their families to come and be with them, as well as several dignitaries and community partners were with us too. Next slide. One of our special guests was Senator Catherine Cortez Masto. She took time out of her very busy schedule to come and be with us. She shared with the graduates, and she actually sat down and spent time with them and really engaged with us and really participated. We were really happy to have her. We were very proud that she attended. Next slide. And our very good special guest, and she was actually a former FSS graduate, is Dr. Nicola Mitchell. She is the founder of Girls Who Brunch. She always comes back to the area, and she invites our families to come, our girls to come. She really gives us like about 15 to 25 slots each time, free for us to come and participate. She never forgets us. This lady is an author. There's been a Lifetime movie about her actual life story. So if you just read about her, it's amazing. And I can't tell you enough about what she did at our graduation, how she had everyone just in awe of how far she's come full circle with her story. So just check her out. She's just an amazing lady. Next slide. And these are our great sponsors. Everyone from Nevada State Bank to the Raiders Foundation. Jerry Merritt of Bank of Nevada was our cornerstone sponsor of $10,000. And I can't remember everyone, but just so much great support that were able to support this event so that we didn't have to use, of course, any agency money. And HUD never gives us any money for these events. So we were so great to have this. And then last but not least, our 45 graduates, we paid out a total of $458,284 in escrow for the year. So very proud of that. And you'll see the check and Mr. Jordan and all the graduates. So thank you so much. And I did make sure that each of you had a book. For those of you who could not attend, you have a booklet to peruse and see all the graduates and their great goals. And we hope that those of you who could not attend, that you could definitely be a part of it next year. And we look forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paul. I also wanted to just thank the commissioners who were there. And I really need to make a comment. We have a lot going on. We have a lot going on, and we know that you all have a lot going on. So we thank the commissioners who were there, but also want to say for the record that I talked to each one of the commissioners who really gave a heartfelt thank you, and for those who couldn't come, said they would not be able to be there, but we're very proud of not only the work we're doing, but the accomplishments of the graduates. So, in fact, I think we may have a graduate or two in the room today.
I don't think we had any.
Phyllis is here. Yeah. So a lot going on. That it, Paul?
I had
You come back.
Okay.
Come back for that.
Okay. Thank you so much.
And so and again, we're going to try and move this along. The boards around, and this kind of dovetails into what I said about how busy you are. You'll probably see more next year. My presentation be a little longer because for those things you can't get to, we're going to bring them to you. And so with that being said, I'm going to ask Karen to come up and just do a brief update on what's going on with our CNI award that we won.
Hello, Commission, Board, Commissioners and Board. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay, great. I'm truly excited to be here for my first presentation about the CNI grant. My name is Karen Schnog, and I'm the Director of the Choice Neighborhood Implementation. This will be the first of many, many presentations over 8 years. So
As you know, the CNI grant, we are partners with the City of Las Vegas in implementing this grant. And it's a $50 million grant to redevelop not only the housing up at Marble Manor, but also the, sorry, I'm getting distracted with that. Also the historic West Side neighborhood as a whole. So there are 4 parts to our grant. One, and most important, is the people services. The current people and residents who are living at Marble Manor will be providing wraparound services and support for their relocation. Our people services and relocation is well on its way. We haven't moved anybody yet, but they have completed, for phase 1, they've completed all the interviews for relocation. And for the entire property, our Lutheran Social Services group, which is our contracted provider, is on campus, on property, and providing wraparound services. They have already completed intake of 30%, probably by the end of today, 35% of the households. As you know, it's a mixed use, mixed design, and mixed income property. And the last part of the Choice Neighborhood Program is the CCNIs, the critical community implementations. So we go out into the community and not only beautify this property, but make meaningful change throughout the neighborhood. One is to start some infrastructure for commercial development along Jackson Avenue and Market Hall. Second is to provide childcare services right on the property of Marble Manor. Another goal is to, and another action is to provide art and placemaking, and we are making a very strong effort placemaking ourselves and the city. Not only will the property have things like community amenities and, my favorite, a splash pad and childcare, as I mentioned, but also there is a strong effort to have this, the historic West Side have a look of its own that is based on the past, but is functional and operational for the future. There's a design guidelines being implemented by the city, and our housing partner is looking at those design guidelines to implement those recommendations as well. And let's see. I have just on the success, of course, we're up to date on all our deliverables to HUD and things like that, but as I said, most important, we had a meeting at the community center. It was just a regular community meeting, and sometimes I'm told sometimes that nobody shows up to those meetings. Sometimes there's several. This time there were a good 20 people there, and about half of them were in phase 1 for the relocation. And so I went around and was asking people as we were getting started how the relocation is going. Did you understand what's going on? Do you feel like you have options? And all reported to me that they had a very good experience with the relocation discussion. And then at the end of the meeting, one of the community members said, "Hey, make sure you tell my guy Chad I said hi," which was really surprised me because it's in the details, right? That you make that connection with people. And if I wouldn't have thought that Chad would have been able to make that connection right away with several people in that community, but he did. So now I'd be happy to answer any questions about the project.
Are there any questions? Commissioner Turner.
Thank you. So when do you expect to start moving out in the first phase?
Mm-hmm.
Those residents are ready? Are they on board? Are they nervous?
They're all of the above.
Okay.
Like I said, we've completed all the interviews, but the actual move will start on January 2nd. And it will take through probably the end of May, just before demolition, to complete all 48 households moving out of the property. Any other questions? Or did that answer? Okay.
Well, I was just gonna say, so the first phase should last about, as far as the moving, about
Yes.
5-6 months.
Yes,
Okay,
5 months.
so, then we start the demolition in May.
Yes, no, June.
June.
So
Oh,
we're
okay.
moving, the last person has to be out by the 30th of May, and then demolition will start in June.
Okay, and I don't know if this is your question or maybe Frank's question. Expecting to return, so the first set of people I know won't return till the end, right? Where they can actually come back. When we start transferring, how long do you think the first phase for the first set to be moved in?
We'll be moving back in.
Yes.
So the construction doesn't actually start till the end of next summer, early fall. And I believe it goes through 2027, Frank, is that correct?
Correct.
So we will start moving people in. Do you know the month? I think it's September, but I'm not 100% sure.
Commissioner, if you don't have the information.
I can get back to you, thank you.
Yes. I was just trying to get a timeline.
Yeah.
So that
So
way.
it'll be about
people-
2 years.
Yes, because they confront us in the neighborhood.
Oh,
We want to
absolutely.
reassure them that they are gonna be, really set in a different way. And we've got to
Yeah.
move forward and cooperate, participate with the moves and everything. that's
Yes,
going. Thank you
so
so
that'll
much.
be approximately 2 years.
Okay, thank you.
So a demo and construction timeline to include all the human pieces that go along with that would be helpful.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We can actually create a cheat sheet that you all can have, just whenever somebody comes up to you, you can say, here's some of the dates. We can put that
Commissioner
together.
Cox?
So is the 6-month period to move 48, did you say, families?
Yeah.
Is that because you're waiting on units to come up to place them, or is
It's
that because it takes
that long. Yeah.
Really?
Well, and I know that sounds surprising, but
It does.
a lot of the individuals who are living at Marble Manor have lived there all their lives. And, have family members and so forth who have households there. They have never lived anywhere else. So, and they all have to be offered at least 3 choices in housing. So some of them will be looking at taking vouchers for the first time. And then they'll need assistance in understanding what that means, setting up their own utilities, finding the unit that they want to live in. So
It's a
that's why
process.
it's a very long
not
process.
just, it's gonna take us 6 months to physically move people.
Oh, no.
This is a full process.
It's more the
Got it.
wraparound process
Thank
to
you, I
make sure that they're
understand.
successful. Thank
I
you
understand now,
for the
thank you.
questions.
Commissioner Bray?
One follow-on question, I don't want to get too far into the weeds, but is the case manager also helping them as they think about their choices with the implications for schools if they have younger kids? Or are we trying to make sure we find one of the options is in
Yes.
there? Okay, so
And-
there's like an educational component that they're also looking at?
So there's more specifically one specific case manager who works with all the education, will help them with their IEPs. If somebody wants to stay at the school that they're at, we will figure out transportation. We'll be working with the school district as a whole. So yes, there's one specific person and also 5 other case managers who will be helping.
I have one last question, if I may.
Great.
Sure, and I'll also encourage the board to, through Mr. Jordan, reach out to Ms. Knopf to, just get a deep dive, because there is a lot going on. It's really dynamic.
Mhm.
And I know that, probably more questions than we have time here today for our meeting.
Exactly, and I know just enough to be dangerous, so yes, I would like that. If hypothetically, okay, they move out, they live in a new place, they end up loving that place, do they have to move back to Marble
No,
Manor?
absolutely
Can they
not.
remain where they are as long as they still qualify?
Yes.
Okay.
It's all about choice. So they can, if they love where they are, they can stay there. And if they want to move back, they get priority to move back into Marble Manor.
Okay, well, I'm excited about the Marble Manor project, so,
Me too.
thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
There you go, I have just a couple more items, Commissioner. I'd like to have Rosie Lane come up and just give a brief update on what's going on with the voucher program. Rosa and I agreed that it would be her job to give the good news today, so.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Rosa Aileen Garcia, Director of Housing Programs. When do you want me to say first?
Just whatever, they're gonna smile either way, so just,
So recently, we got a couple months ago, we applied for 50 vouchers for veterans. And a couple days ago, they just asked if we would like 99 instead of 50.
Yes.
So of course, we did say yes, and so we're gonna get 90, no, I don't know why not 100, but 99 for sure are coming our way. So that is one. Another thing is that we have, we've been working with HUD under shortfall prevention team. And we have also recently been aware that we're going to get more funds, so we don't have to be worried about being at risk of shortfall. And so we're getting the funds to be able to not have to display anybody. Sorry.
And I wanted to just add to that, this is critical. You know, housing authorities will face shortfall all over the country. And what happens with shortfall is that we learn that the allotted monies we have to run our program won't match the need. So what ends up happening is that we have to freeze our wait list. People can move that are in housing, but new people cannot come on. And there's a very, very detailed process that Rosie Lane and her team leads with HUD that has resulted in HUD saying, based on what you're doing, we're going to award you the additional dollars that you need to not only keep moving families within the program, but also allow people to come off of the wait list. And that's huge. You know, I've worked in other housing authorities where we've been in shortfall, but we just couldn't justify, or we couldn't prove to HUD that they needed to give us the additional money. Let's be very clear, HUD will never take anyone out of a home. But what shortfall does is prevents us from putting new people in the home. So, you know, just hats off to the voucher team. And we're talking diligent weekly meetings on hours with HUD, explaining to them that we're doing all the right things necessary to spend those dollars. So again, thank you.
Thank you. And I don't know if you have any other questions.
I got a question. So on the VA vouchers, is this something that we could use to help build the VA housing, or is this going to go directly to veterans?
These are vouchers, so the housing choice vouchers. So these are vouchers for veterans, so they can look for places anywhere they want.
And do we have a separate list of of veterans who are seeking vouchers?
Yes. We work through the VA.
Mm-hmm.
The VA will make referrals, and then the VA will do the process of getting them. You know, here are the veterans, here's what they need. Then it comes over to Rosa Lane's team,
Mm-hmm.
and we start to house them.
So we don't have to pick and choose?
Oh, no. We already we meet with the VA staff every week, and we go over all the current cases, and we go over the referrals that they're sending. When are we meeting with them in person, whether somebody needs a virtual meeting instead of in person. So we're constantly talking, and in fact, 99 vouchers is good, but we actually need more, but for veterans. Yeah.
And we have a huge veterans outreach for homeless.
Yes.
Could those people be also eligible for a voucher if the VA approves them, or?
All through the VA, yes.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
I'm thinking about the project-based vouchers.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, do we have anything coming down the pipeline that will satisfy maybe the project-based vouchers and kind of construction that we can really dedicate to veterans?
No, go ahead.
So we currently have a number, we only have 3 or 4 projects right now that are dedicated to the project-based voucher for veterans. And we only have 52 vouchers, project-based vouchers dedicated to veterans. So definitely in the future, we should be looking into trying to build more of that.
That's correct. And finally, Rosa, I know we're going to have a presentation a little later in the afternoon, but let's talk just real briefly about CMAP. What did we do with CMAP this year? And explain CMAP as well.
So this is a Section 8 management project where every year we are, at this time we have a independent consultant go over and review our files. I'm not sure if you remember what happened last year.
Well, why don't you tell us what happened last year?
Last year, our score was 63%, so our rating was a standard performance rating. This year, our score is 93%, which gives us a high performance rating.
And you all will have an opportunity to certify that before the meeting's over.
Yes.
Thank you, Rosa.
You're welcome.
Then the last item we have, Paula, you can come on back up now and make an announcement for us.
Okay, one quick announcement I wanted to make before I do the next one. Commissioner Seagalom, you were not here at our last meeting, and we had given some appreciation awards to the commissioners at the Celebration of Aging, and you were not able to attend, so I did want to make sure I gave you your award today. So.
Not sure what I did, but I'll take it. Thank you so much.
And then Paula, before you do that, I just wanted to throw in, we're going to do I think it's our second or third year in a row, we're having a turkey giveaway for all of the SNRHA employees. Through donations and through efforts of staff, we were able to secure turkeys, and so every employee that needs or wants will get a turkey. And now, Paula,
Okay, I'm gonna need you to help me with this. So we have one of our,
okay, let me. So let me say this, and I think the commissioners who had an opportunity to attend the FSS graduation, as we talked about the support that the graduates got, the efforts that we heard around the Housing Authority does this, the staff does this, you all are doing that. There was one name that was probably said more than anyone else, and that was Geisha Sanders. Geisha, we're talking, I think, Paula, correct me if I'm wrong, 27 years, is it? 27 years of service. Sometimes in the voucher program, more time in resident services. But if you're, I think if there was a picture in Webster's dictionary that said, this is what tenacity, determination, helping people looks like, it would be Geisha's picture. I'll tell you, and this year was just a replay of last year and the year before, and those years that I didn't work here. The consummate professional, if you talk about someone who really has embodied what their purpose has been in life, Geisha's work here at the Housing Authority has been it. And shortly after the meeting the other day, she called and she said, Louis, we've done some good stuff, but it's time for me to go into the next chapter of my life. So we just want to recognize Geisha for all of her work. And it's been a family affair. Is her husband in the room today? He was here earlier. But
her whole team is.
Her husband spent 30 years with us. So it's been, I can only imagine the conversations at home about that place called SNRHA. And we also have the resident services team that works with her here, but just from the bottom of our hearts, from the bottom of our hearts, we just say thank you.
I don't do a whole for speaking, but I just want to say it's been a blessing and an honor to service, the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority families, and I will truly be grateful for every day that I spend here. It really has been an honor, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Supportive services, you guys, we've been a great team, and I want you to keep everything going. Don't stop. Keep doing what you're doing, and invite me to, I want to come back to the graduation. Don't forget about me.
So why don't you step over here, commissioners, why don't you all come bunch in together. Team, come on up, and we're going to take a big picture and just say thank you to Geisha one more time. Why don't you stand back? Yeah, everybody got one.
Yeah.
Hi guys.
Yeah, come on.
Sounds like we like each other.
Maybe just scoot a little bit more.
Yeah, that chair's tough. Maybe, are we gonna begin with the, we good?
Yeah.
Everybody in?
Oh, this is looking perfect. Let's see.
On the
Thank
count
you.
of three,
I think-
retirement.
Are you guys ready? Yeah. All right. 1, 2, 3. Retirement. Okay.
Thank you all.
Do you mind if I take a photo? No, yeah, that'd be awesome. Let me see. That's awesome. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes my executive director report.
All right. Comprehensive report, Director Jordan, thank you for your leadership and all that you do to move our housing authority forward. We're now moving on to section 3, consent agenda item number 6 through 10. Is that the consent agenda? Yeah, item 6 through 10. I entertain a motion for approval. All right, we have a motion to approve consent agenda items number 6 through 10. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bruni, or Cox rather. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any abstentions? Anyone opposed? Thank you. We're now moving to section number 4, acknowledgement of our departed. Director Jordan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Since our last gathering, the following residents have passed on. And we'll just ask for a moment of silence for Eileen Chandler Anticio, Lydia Benedict, Andre King, Adelia Nelson, Jose Roland, Martin Valentini, Judith Krupnik, and Christola Pagori. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the election of the new chairperson. I'll entertain a motion for the election of the new chairperson. Commissioner Bruni?
Thank you, Chair. I would like to nominate Vice Chair Commissioner Tick Seegerblum as the Chair of the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority.
And I'll second that motion. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Second.
Is there is no other discussion and we have a second? We'll move to a vote. All in favor of Commissioner Vice Chair Seegerblum as chair, please cast your vote as aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Correct. Congratulations, Vice Chair Seegerblum. We'll now move on to the election of the Vice Chair. Is there a motion for election or for anyone for Vice Chair?
I moved Nancy Bruni.
Okay, we have a motion by Vice Chair Seegerblum for Commissioner Bruni as Vice Chair. Is there a second? We have a second by Commissioner Cox. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Anyone opposed? Motion is adopted. Congratulations, Vice Chair-elect Bruni. We'll now move on to item.
She has a question.
Oh, Commissioner Bruni.
I just wanted to take a moment of privilege and thank you, Chair McCurdy, for your leadership. I know you came here, I think we sort of righted the ship when you assumed the role of chair, but really your continued leadership since I've been on the board and the way that you're working with Executive Director Louis Jordan and the team, I think has just solidified the stability, and you've been such a great advocate out in the community for the work of SNRHA, so thank you. And you left some big shoes you're leaving some big shoes to fill for her.
Thank you so much.
I don't want to elongate this meeting much longer, but I do have to say that Chairman McCurdy is a person that I watched prior to my running for council and admired his leadership. And Tick Sager-Bloom is another person that I admired, and I've gotten to know Commissioner Bruni and have come to just absolutely adore her too. And so these are all people that have helped me be a better leader as I've seen their good examples. So thank you for being those good examples, and I just wanted to say that. And of course, Commissioner Tricchio and all of these wonderful commissioners up here teach me something all the time. So thank you for all of your leadership on this commission.
Thank you. All right, development and modernization. I'll entertain a motion for approval. Oh, we'll hear from Mr. Stafford first for the approval to award contract C24018 in the amount of $22,972,976 to B&H Construction for the comprehensive rehabilitation of Janice Brooks Bay development.
Good afternoon, Frank Stafford, Development Modernization. Background: on August 19, 2024, an IFB solicitation package was posted as a downloadable PDF on the SNRHA website, Nevada Government e-Market website, and there were 5,395 companies notified. 24 actually downloaded the solicitation. In addition, the solicitation was also advertised in the Las Vegas Review-Journal, Las Vegas Asian Journal, Latin American Press, El Mundo, and culturally diverse advertisement, as well as provide to companies listed on the SNRHA Construction Contractors Database, Emerging Small Business Program of the Governor's Office, Construction Notebook, and other local organizations such as Urban Chamber of Commerce, Las Vegas Clark County Urban League, and the Small Business Administration. The pre-bid conference was held Thursday, September 5th at 10 a.m. We had 22 companies that, excluding SNRHA staff, that attended, and a question and answer period was provided for the period from August 19th to September 30th, 2024. On the closing day solicitation, which is October 17th, SNRHA received 2 bids. Additional bid opening followed, it was determined that B&H Construction was the lowest, most responsible bid with a bid amount of $22,972,976. Sparkfly Studios and Development Modernization staff and procurement reviewed the documents and performed all background checks, include license, ownership, debarment, and found this contractor to be responsive and responsible. Development Modernization requests approval to award the contract above noted services, invitation bid IFB 24018 for a period of 495 plus days, not to exceed the amount of $22,972,976. I would just like to note, in this bid, we had 2 alternates that were included, which was replacing the roofs at all the buildings as well as upgrading the landscaping. There is a Section 3 component to this contract pursuant to 24 CFR Part 75, of which B&H Construction is aware and will comply with the requirements by hiring an estimated 5 eligible employees. A representative is present to answer any questions the board may have on this bid. The second bid we're showing there was from Copperstone Construction, $25,062,903. Both of these bids were within our budget, so like I said, we deemed the bid to be fair and responsible. We're asking that the Executive Director is requesting the Board of Commissioners to review and approve Contract C24018 to B&H Construction for Janice Brooks Bay Development at 5201 Walnut Avenue, Las Vegas, Nevada 89110, in a not to exceed amount of $22,972,976. An estimated total contract term of 495 calendar days. This concludes my presentation.
That concludes your presentation. Is there a motion for approval?
Move for approval.
We have a motion by Vice Chair Sager-Bloom. Is there a second? A second by Commissioner Blackman. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions?
Someone here from B&H?
Yes.
Sir,
Congratulations.
thank you very much. We're very proud and honored. Looking forward to another successful project now.
Fantastic.
All right. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any abstentions? Anyone opposed? Motion is adopted. Item number 15, approval of resolution SNRHA 131 to enter into an agreement to execute all documents necessary to obtain financing for the development of Phase 2 of Marion Bennett Plaza. I entertain a motion. We're going to read the resolution to the record first.
Background: the Executive Director is requesting the Board to approve Southern Florida Regional Housing Authority Resolution SNRHA 131, which authorizes the executive director and/or his designee to execute any and all documents and take any other action as deemed necessary or desirable to facilitate the financing, closing, development, and operation of Phase 2 at Marriott Bennett Plaza Apartments. The new building will have 59 units, 49 of them will be one-bedroom and 10 two-bedrooms, and they'll be funded by Home Meets About Initiative Funds, Clark County Community Housing Funds, and SNRHA Capital Funds. Action request, the Executive Director requests the Board to approve Resolution Number SNRHA 131, authorize the Executive Director and his designee to execute any and all documents necessary or desirable to facilitate the financing, closing, development, and operation of Phase 2 at Marion Bennett Plaza.
That
It concludes, Mike.
Okay. I entertain a motion for approval. We have a motion by Vice Chair Sutherland. There's a second by Commissioner Desmond. And is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Anyone opposed? Motion is adopted. Item number 16, approve of resolution SNRHA 132 to enter an agreement to execute all documents necessary to obtain financing for the redevelopment of Janice Brooks Bay Apartments.
Background, the Executive Director is requesting the Board to approve Southern Florida Regional Housing Authority Resolution SNRHA-132, which authorizes the Executive Director and or his designee to execute any and all documents and take any other action as deemed necessary or desirable to facilitate the financing, closing, redevelopment, and operation of Janice Brooks Bay Apartments. Janice Brooks Bay Apartments is a 100-unit affordable housing development located at 5201 Walnut Avenue. As the property receives no federal monies for its operations or repairs, it never qualified for any federal grants. However, the new groundbreaking Home Meets Nevada initial funds were the first federal funds to allow non-federally funded projects to qualify for and receive federal funds. As such, using the HMNI funds, limited partner equity, and some other financing, the SNRHA will be able to perform a full comprehensive renovation of the entire property. Action requests, the Executive Director is requesting the Board to approve resolution number SNRHA 132, authorize the Executive Director and or his designee to execute any and all documents necessary to facilitate the financing, closing, redevelopment, and operation of Janice Brooks Bay Apartment. This concludes my presentation and my last item for today.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion for approval? We have a motion by Vice Chair Sutherland. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cox. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing and seeing none, move to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any abstentions? Anyone opposed? Motion is adopted. We'll now move on to item number 17, the approval of the annual evaluation for Executive Director Louis Jordan.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Angela White, Human Resources Director. Mr. Lewis will be doing a presentation on his accomplishments over the last year that meet the evaluation measurements for the annual evaluation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. So, I want to make this very short and succinct. As I sit here month after month, I think I live my evaluation. The accomplishments of the team, staff, and we've done some incredible things yet again this year. There's a number of slides, but I've chosen not to go through all of them. The slide before you is the synopsis of what the U.S. commissioners and I met with and agreed that would be my goals for the year. And I clearly, I think in the background material that you received, it clearly shows that we met and exceeded all of those goals. But if I had to capture, what I'm most proud of, what I think has made this agency clearly the agency that wasn't here when I came in on board. Not to go down, memory lane, but where we are today is not what I inherited 3 years ago. And those things that are most evident are strong improvement in the way of customer service. Just an ongoing effort, everything from answering phones to being responsive to not only, your needs, but to the community. And one of the measurements that I'm always focused on is, as an agency with an oversight of the board, how much of your time do you have to spend getting involved or asking questions about the day-to-day outside of these board meetings? And I'm very confident, based on our record keeping, based on our communication strategy, you don't have to spend a lot of that time, because we do that. We answer those questions, we address those issues, and we've been very diligent in getting back to you. Another thing is just a strong partnerships and collaborations. People want to be in the room with us now. You know, people come to us, and you know, I remember I was challenged, I think it's by the chair. He said, whenever there's any conversation about affordable housing, I want the Housing Authority to be at the forefront of the conversations. And again, this year we've continued to build on that momentum. I had an opportunity, just as a side, I met Governor Lombardo for the first time the other day. And I introduced myself, and he said, I know who you are, and I know what you're doing. And you guys hadn't been doing that for a while. So again, and while this is about my evaluation, this is more about the great team that we put around us and the things that they're doing to elevate our stature and our ability to want to be partnered with in the community. And then last but not least, or a couple more things, the employee development. We spent a lot of time working on those things to help employees understand their roles and efforts in making the agency better. And we're proud of that. And then the last but not least, the attention that we put towards residents. You know, as we talked about the whole notion of Section 3 and things of that nature, my personal goal, as evident in the FSS program, is to help every person in our program move from where they are to where they want to be through their housing efforts, through employment, whatever it is that we can support them in. And so the team has worked diligently to address these issues, and I'm proud to speak to some of the things we've accomplished. So with that being the backdrop, I just have a couple more slides I want to hit that talks about the accomplishments. So the next slide, we'll talk about our first goals. I'm sorry? Oh, it's too small. So all right, no more slides. I'm just going to read. I'm going to read fast. The first goal that spoke to hitting the SNRHA, the minimum categories, we show significant improvement, and you have this in your presentations. We show significant improvement in our public housing scores as it relates to REACT and the new form, which is called Inspire. In some cases, we went from 63% all the way up to 89%, significant improvement there. I couldn't hold my enthusiasm around CMAP. We had a lot of conversation at this time last year about where we were in CMAP. I think Rosa said it was 63, 64%, although we were a standard performer, which was fine. You know, if you fall below standard, it gets in the way of opportunities for you to get additional vouchers and monies and things like that. So even at 63, we're standard. We're in the mid 90s today. And again, that speaks volumes, in my opinion, to the improvement we've made. Maintain an unqualified audit independent auditor's report. We were successful in doing that. And also meet the obligation and expenditures of goals for HUD and capital CCFP. I know the vice chair and I had a lengthy conversation about the rule, thou should not give money back. And if you don't hit your goals, particularly with the capital funds, you find yourself having to give money back. In my career, I've never given money back. And we were successful this year, again, hitting that goal. And hats off to the MOD team and our ability to make sure there's two phases. You have to obligate it and you have to spend it. And when we found ourselves in the years of COVID, you know, which was a few years ago, it kind of threw us in a quandary, but we were able to talk with HUD about where we were, why we hadn't spent those monies, and we're able to adjust, keep the monies to put towards another project. And this item It's something that we were very successful in. The next goal was identify and implement additional funding for SNRHA, and that just goes without saying. We were the only housing authority in the country to receive the $50 million CNI grant and the Jobs Plus grant in 1 year. And again, I say the only housing authority in the country. So again, it just speaks. And not only that, but when we look at the efforts of the Home Means Nevada, while we got a significant amount of that money, and I don't want to leave out the CFP monies we got from the county. All of those were competitive offerings that we had to apply for, and none of it was guaranteed that we would get. But again, I go back to that comment I made earlier about our ability to work across differences, work with our city partners who were the partners on this CNI, as well as work with the county and the state. We built a very strong effort in our collaborations. And I'm very proud of that, and I think it sets the stage for us going forward. The goal number 7 spoke to resident and participant opportunities through various beneficial community partnerships. I think it was mentioned earlier how we've grown the Rose Foundation, a number of things that we've done in the way of education, the pre-apprenticeship program. I can't tell you how pleased I am. Again, you guys approved this a year ago, and we have 5 people we're going to hire. When we talk about, again, just creating those opportunities, not only internally but externally, and we'll give you an update on it next month. We're getting fantastic feedback from our landlord initiative. You know, last month we partnered with the University of UNLV, and we had over 200 landlords come out and talk about how they are enjoying the partnership. Let me be very clear, it all wasn't hugs and high fives. They gave us some very critical feedback on what we needed to continue to do better. Team and I have met, we're implementing those things, and again, understanding the significance of partnerships. Internally, we created an internal group called Press to look at wellness and things of that nature. If you want a strong and healthy workforce, you got to invest in a strong and healthy workforce. And again, this leadership team, we commit ourselves to making sure that we have people who not only want to work hard, but who want to be here. And we have to provide the backdrop, if you will, in order to do that. An example of that, and I think staff can attest to this, we through union negotiations, we did some incredible things this year. We were able to look at how we capture our dollars and move dollars around to, I think if the union president was here or representative, they would say, to offer a very, very good contract, a very good and very fair contract over the next 3 years. And so those are all the things that, as I look at what you challenged me and the team to do, that we were very successful in. And then finally, again, looking at our ability to work with you as commissioners directly, some of the things that we're doing in the way of our briefing setup. I think you would all say that you are kept very well informed as to what we're doing and how we're doing it. And so I'm excited. I'm excited about completing another year of service with the agency. I'm excited about the team that I have around me. And I wanted to, in conclusion, I wanted to piggyback on some accolades that were made earlier as we had the elections for the new leadership positions. Chairman McCurdy was a part of the team that hired me. And even as a new member on the board, Chair, your critical analysis on challenging me not to come in and just continue to be a housing authority, but those questions, I go back to the interview that says, what about you is different than what we might hire otherwise? And we talked about vision and we talked about leadership, and you became the chair shortly after I came on board, and the navigation, the help and helping me, while I think I have a pretty good understanding of the work, helping me understand the community. And I think that that's been invaluable to me. So I just wanted to say, as I conclude, thank you for that level of leadership. And that concludes my evaluation report.
Thank you for your leadership, for your thorough presentation, for the work that you've done, for the character that you've exemplified throughout the community, and for your steadfastness in the face of triumph and also turmoil. You've been consistent and steady through it all, and I believe since my time on this board, you've taken us from 0 to 100 real quick, as the kids may say. And I think that right now we're in a place where we're actually sprinting. We're no longer, trying to gather our balance and start taking steps, but we're actually sprinting right now. And I believe, in my estimation, that is attributed to your leadership. You have put together a winning team. I would say that some of the, the initial hires that we had, throughout this year have indicated just how thoughtful you have been looking forward as to who we want to be as a housing authority and as an agency, not only servicing the community and the residents that we are responsible for helping, but also for the individuals that we associate ourselves with as we look into the future. Before I recommend an amount, I know that we are, per the contract of our executive director, are allowed to have him receive up to a 10% merit increase and a 10% bonus. I would like to have the members of the board, if they so choose to speak, have words at this time and give us, your thoughts on what we should do, but let's not prolong it. Let's get straight to it because some of us have engagements here soon. So, anyone on the board?
I'm missing one of my engagements, which is just fine. May I?
Commissioner Cox.
This is an important meeting, and this is where I'm happy to be. I just want to say that I feel completely different than I did last year in that I was so new, I didn't know what was kind of going on, and you were new, and we were trying to figure everything out, and I just have to say that your leadership has been incredible. And I feel that you definitely deserve your bonus and anything else at this point because you have just really shown such great leadership and changes that have taken place that were so necessary. I mean, you even have the governor saying, hey, I've noticed. So just know I've noticed and I'm grateful. Thank you.
Commissioner Blackman. Or Commissioner Turner. Mike's on. I'm calling you out.
Thank you. I want to say I'm very fortunate to have been on the team that did select a very great leader for this agency. When I was brought to this board, appointed, it was in a lot of turmoil. I can honestly say that, and I know it was some healing that needed to be done. But I am so grateful that we made the right decision to have the right leader, because with the right leader, then you can get the right team together, which will promote and build momentum. And I think our agency now can be something that we're absolutely proud of, but also an example of what other agencies can do around the country, especially having the two very vital tools that we need, which was the SNRHA grant and the Job Plus. So I'm thankful and I really appreciate you being our director. And I believe that we have the best fit for the best time right now. Thank you.
Commissioner Brown.
I just want to say that I knew Mr. Louis Jordan would do everything that he said he would do, and I was confident in him being able to carry all of his goals out. And I definitely believe that you deserve that 10% increase on your bonus and your salary for sure. You've done that and more for this agency, and I am honored to work with you. Even when we go out to the housing conferences, everybody knows who you are and the work that you've done, not only for our agency, but for all the agencies that you've been at in your past. And so I just want to be thankful for, and say that I'm thankful for working with you.
Commissioner Blackman?
Excuse me, I'm the newest member of this team, but what I've learned in a short period of time is excellence is something in which you can talk a good game, but if you're not working a good game, and if the people around you have the greatest respect for you in terms of the things that you do, they'll follow you anywhere. The one thing that I was always impressed with was the staff in which Mr. Jordan has put together, people that were here before, the continuity, obviously, that he brought forward, the leadership. But then the other thing is he only asked for 10%? So, because the bottom line is, and I'll be really brief, when you bring excellence to the floor in terms of monies, in terms of funding, and the things and changing, you have to reward that so that you can appreciate those people that work with you and work for you. And so our responsibility is just one person, that's Mr. Jordan. And if he's doing a good job, that means everybody else is doing a great job. So I give my 100% support to that. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, I'm just so impressed when I sit here and I listen to everyone speak. And I know we had a few battles the last time we went through all this. And some of us, or some of you all, were apprehensive and questioned because you were focused on what had happened prior to Commissioner Jordan, but you didn't have that trust value. And I feel that I tried to bring that forward, but now I really don't have to say a lot. I just watch everybody's reaction to what he has with his team and he put together accomplished. It just puts a smile on my face. And I'm a person that doesn't do a lot of cursing and all that, but I just sit there and say, holy shit. I'm just watching them do their thing. And it's just a beautiful thing because of one fundamental thing that I admire so much of him. He pays attention to details, you see. And as a person that's a disabled veteran, I may get a call here or there, how you doing, how you feeling? Other persons on staff, on the commissions and stuff, you get those calls of concern that wants to know how many executive directors I know. I thought I was a good one. I never went to another person's funeral in another state because they had passed or something like that. He did. You feel it, you bring it out, you pay attention to detail. And we got it all. I don't see what the debate is. My recommendation is to give them the maximum of what we can possibly give them, period, and move on. That's it. That's the motion.
Commissioner Churchill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I didn't say anything because I've been listening. I'm not a short timer, but close to a short timer around here. But it's very important to me, just like being a council person, responsiveness to the people, empathy, and competence. All those things have to go together. So you definitely have that, my friend. And with that, I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve the contract for 10 and 10 for you.
We have a motion by Commissioner Churchill for the not only the acceptance of the evaluation, but also a recommendation for compensation as well as bonus. Before we take a vote, I would just like our legal counsel Mahogany to put on the record how those funds are paid, or Mr. Parker, how the salary is paid.
Certainly. Can you hear me, Chairman?
Yes.
Attorney?
Yes. We can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So a portion of any salary we paid by, I would say, private money. non-discretionary money. And then the remainder of it is paid from your discretionary funds. I believe the limit on the HUD portion of that is approximately $176,000. I'm sure Mr. Heron can give you the penny. And then the remainder is paid from your other programs, which, based on my conversations with Mr. Heron, is available to afford the requested or the amount suggested in the motion. The only other thing I wanted to point out, just so the record is clear, Article 5 of the employment agreement does not say that the raise or the increase in salary is limited to 10%. I think that was only the request. That amount is unlimited based upon the sole discretion of the board, and then the bonus is restricted to no more than 10%. So I just wanted the record to be clear so that we don't have something different or inconsistent with the actual employment contract.
All right, so I think we're good, Mr. Herring. We have.
I just want to make a correction to our legal counsel, if I may.
Got it.
100% of his money is none of his money is being paid out of Section 8 or Section 9 money, which is HUD and public housing money. All of it. And this is Fred Aaron, Chief Administrative Officer for the Southern Valley Regional Authority. All of his money we paid out by central office cost center money, which is considered non-federal money once we receive it from our management fees. So the federal money is considered Section 8 and Section 9, which is our public housing and our and the public housing funds, and none of his funds is allocated out of those programs.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. We have a motion and second on the floor. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing and seeing none, move to, Commissioner Sable? Hearing and seeing none, I'll move to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any abstentions? Anyone opposed? Motion is adopted. Congratulations, Director Jordan.
Thank you, Commissioners.
The second was, who was the second? No, Commissioner Churchill made the motion. Commissioner Blackman made the second.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we'll move on to item number 18, approval of time and attendance.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Angela White, Human Resources Director. We're asking to change the policy. Currently, the policy language starts disciplinary action at the first defined occurrence, while the CBA doesn't begin until the third occurrence. So this language change will make both groups consistent.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions from members of the board at this time?
Move for approval.
We have a motion by Vice Chair Sagerblum. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Disman. If there is no comment by members of the board at this moment, we'll move to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any abstentions? Anyone opposed? Motion is adopted. Item number 19, approval of resolution SNRHA 133. Welcome.
Rosa Elaine Garcia, Director of Housing Programs. Background, currently on October 1st, 2024, HUD published the new fair market rent 2025. PHAs must review their current payment standards and ensure that they are within the basic range between 90% and 110% of the 40th percentile of the FMR. So the Executive Director requests that the Board approve the 2025 HCV payment standard at 105% of the HUD published FMR.
We have a motion by Vice Chair Sagerblum. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Brown over there. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any abstentions? Anyone opposed? Motion is adopted. We'll now move on to this last item on our agenda, which is new business. Is there anyone looking to come forward at this time? Oh, actually, are there any new business items, members of the board, that they would like to have heard at the next agenda? Director Jordan.
Just a point of clarification. The CMAP, did we approve? I don't know if we approved that.
The resolution?
Yeah.
That was a resolution.
So-
That was SNRHA 133, the CMAP. That was a CMAP.
Okay, good. That was nice. Okay.
Yes.
It's approved. You're good.
All right, this is the last time set aside for public comment. If you have public comment during this time, please come forward. I will relinquish the mic to Chair-elect Sagerbloom, as I will have to step away.
Phyllis Carpenter, 5200 Alpine. Okay, so the first thing I want to bring up is on October 24th, there was a meeting about the CNI at the AD Guy Center. We had went door to door to get the residents to come. That's why so many residents showed up. When we went to, Madeline and I went to walk in the door, they tried to have us trespass from the meeting. Their security told them that they was the aggressors and it was a public meeting and we was allowed. In turn, they turned around and called Metro on us and tried to have us trespass by Metro. Metro told them the same thing and said that if they called another call like that in again, that they would be charged with filing a false police report. So recently, on the 8th of last month, this month, I was served a 30-day to comply with my lease. So I went in, I had a formal hearing with the manager. I can prove where she's lied because there's no interactions between me and any staff that I haven't recorded. So I can prove that she's lying. She also, I can prove it. So then I put in that same day for a formal hearing. Now in my lease, it says that I'm allowed to have an in-person formal hearing and allowed to present my evidence. I got an email yesterday saying that they was gonna do it over the phone and I need to have my evidence into them the 24 hours prior. That isn't what my lease says, and a lot of my files are so big, I can't even share them in an email or any way like that. So I'm just wondering, why is it that they can change policy when it's convenient for them? And what is gonna be done to the manager when she is proved to be lying? Also, she didn't provide me with any proof of any statements from the plumber, anything. And then when I asked for it, she said she was going to charge me $168 for a disc. Well, if you are saying that I did something and trying to evict me over it, I would think that you would have to provide me with the proof, you know, and not try to charge me $168 for the proof. And then, so the reason why I feel like she's retaliating and intimidating me is because I called code enforcement. They are not pulling permits when they're doing these projects. They put a new clean out line on the main line, which is right next to where mine comes out. Code enforcement has an open case on it. I also went to the contractors board because the contractor knew clearly that he needed to pull permits on it and didn't. And I feel like because the work was finished, I'm gonna say the middle of last month, but I didn't receive the notice until the 8th of this month, and that was after code enforcement had contacted them to tell them about the open case. And I feel that that's why they are retaliating and intimidating me against me.
All right,
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak on public comment? We're running late, so let's be quick here.
Okay. Hi, my name is Lenika Carruthers. I'm getting charged for window screens I never had, and as of HUD regulations say, all operating windows in a house unit should have window screens. I have moved into my house in August 2020. I called to get them installed, but they only came to do the measurements and only came to put 2 on my windows. They recently just came to put the rest on my windows, and I'm still missing one. Both have fell off, one has broke. And I'm willing to pay for one of the window screens, but the other one, there's nothing wrong with it, as I had in the meeting with Casey. If you guys call in, if we do our work orders, if they get done properly when we call them, I wouldn't be getting charged for these window screens, because like I said, I've been living in this house since August 2020, and I have no window screens. So my kids could just jump out the window and break their necks. That should be a safety hazard. So I'm getting charged for that. I'm also getting charged for my kitchen drawers. I called to replace one of my kitchen drawers. I took out the second kitchen drawer so my kids wouldn't break that one. So I have the second one. Casey's over. I had my meeting with him yesterday, so he is going to, I guess, look at my charges and see what I need to be fixed. But Like I said, if you do the work orders the same day we call within the next week or two, not months or years later, I wouldn't be getting charged for 2 drawers. I have 1 drawer, I would pay for the other one. I'm only getting charges, I feel like it's due to retaliation. I come into this board meetings for at least 4 months now, and I broke 2 doors. Because I'm a single mom with 4 kids, I'm having to move furniture. So of course something fell on the door. I would pay for 1 door, but I'm not paying for the other.
Okay, well, just limit it to 1 door, okay?
You said, well, I have 2 minutes, and it haven't been 2 minutes yet, so you're
What
being
else do
rude.
you want to ask for?
But you're being rude, and I haven't even finished my 2
I
minutes
know,
yet.
but what else do you want? We
Why
just
I
gave you
can't
the 1
finish
door.
though? But it's more to that. It seems like you're being rude just like the rest of them. If my 2 minutes is not up and we all had to sit here, like I have stuff to do as well. Y'all said y'all had a healing process. What about my healing process and the rest of us who get mistreated on housing?
Well,
you
is
don't
your
have no
healing
respect.
process
It's
talking
not
about-
even 2 minutes yet, so why I can't finish? If it says not even 2.
If it's
We
your
have
healing
3
process-
minutes and I haven't even finished my 3 minutes and you're interrupting me.
I am.
You don't have to. Let me finish because we let y'all finish.
Don't you want just the money?
I don't care about the money. See,
Okay.
that's what y'all get it wrong at. It's not even about the money.
That's my point, okay.
If I broke something, I would fix it. But if something's supposed to be on my windows, like it said in HUD regulations, it's not. And it's been 4 years. So now what? Are you going to pay for that? What about my forged signature? Someone in housing forged my signature. Y'all just want me to come sign it. I'm not signing nothing. When I get this $5,000 for a lawyer, I will sue you guys for someone forging my signature. Y'all don't care about that.
Mr. Chair, we'll meet with her and look into this. Ma'am, just have a seat, we'll speak.
Thank you. Like this shit crazy.
All right, anyone else? See no one else, we'll close the meeting. And thank you so much. Thank you to the new contractor. Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Thanks to everyone else. And thanks to the vice chair. Next time you can take the last name. I got thrown out.
Thank you.